con la entrevista. And so, welcome, Superintendent Trunell. We are once again, I think it was just like a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a week ago, that we were having a conversation here. And we want to welcome you once again to KBBF Bilingual Radio and your show, Líderes del Futuro. Bienvenida a la Superintendente aquí al programa Líderes del Futuro. Parece que estábamos aquí la semana pasada, pero una vez más, aquí estamos. So again, welcome. What do you have for us?
Good evening. Thank you for having us again this evening. I'd like to also just mention my colleague, Vanessa Wedderburn, our Public Information Officer, and Dan Bigelow, who will be assisting in translation tonight for me.
Buenas tardes, Rafael. Gracias por invitarnos otra vez. Esta tarde vamos a proveer alguna información, pero también la superintendente quería mencionar a la señora Vanessa Wedderburn, quien es la oficial de información aquí en el distrito escolar, y yo soy el intérprete del distrito escolar, me llamo Daniel.
Thank you. So tonight, we're bringing forward for just information purposes, what we have going on as far as bond measures, as well as board seat elections.
Pues esta tarde vamos a proveer alguna información, nada más información sobre los varios bonos escolares y además alguna información sobre los puestos disponibles en la mesa directiva.
So legally, I am not here to advocate for any bond measure vote or a vote towards any board or any person running for a board seat.
Pues la señora Trunell está aclarando que no está haciendo ninguna recomendación en cuanto a esas medidas y además no está recomendando a ninguna persona para cualquiera de los puestos disponibles en la mesa directiva.
So we have right now, the community might be hearing about bond measures that are going to be on the November ballot, as well as open board seats.
Pues ahorita posiblemente la comunidad está escuchando noticias con respecto a las varias medidas, los bonos escolares que estarán sujetos a votación en el mes de noviembre y también la misma cosa con los puestos o la gente que está buscando un puesto en la mesa directiva.
So the community may recall that in 2014, the district asked the community to vote yes on two bond measures, bond measure I, which is for the high school district, and bond measure L, which is for the elementary school district. And those bonds passed with good favor by the voting community.
Pues vamos a recordar un poquito a la comunidad sobre las medidas anteriores que aprobamos en el año 2014, creo, los bonos I y L. I es para la secundaria y L es para el distrito de escuelas primarias. Y gracias a la comunidad, estas dos medidas fueron aprobadas en el pasado.
Bond measures are on ballots for the community to vote because school districts like Santa Rosa City Schools need funding to maintain and upgrade school facilities.
Pues los bonos escolares están sujetos a votación debido a la necesidad del distrito escolar de recoger fondos para actualizar y modernizar las instalaciones escolares.
And the dollar amount sounds very high when we're asking the community to consider paying into their property taxes in order to support bond measures. The amount of money that it takes to upgrade and repair school facilities and school district facilities is typically in the billions of dollars. And and just one more point. And these bond measures we ask are typically in the millions, which do not cover the full amount of our need.
Pues la cantidad de estos bonos escolares puede parecer un poco grande, pero en realidad el dinero necesario para alegrar, para modernizar las instalaciones del distrito escolar, estamos hablando en términos de $1,000 billones de arreglos necesarios. pero nosotros estamos pidiendo como, millones de dólares para arreglar las cosas más urgentes.
Mhm.
It's interesting because a few years ago, Superintendent, we saw that schools like Montgomery had literally classrooms where water was coming down from the ceiling. And, what do? You try to patch it as best you can, but there's no money to do the proper fixing of the facilities. And I remember that your predecessor went to one of those meetings where the students were like, this is our school. Why is it in the way that it is? And the reality is some of these buildings are decades old. At Santa Rosa Junior College, we have the same situation where sometimes it's like, okay, we need to put a new AC system, right? Yeah, but that money needs to be used on this side for this other thing, and we ran out of money. And so sometimes it's easy for people who are not familiar with the schools to be able to say, okay, here we go again. We're going to give the school district a pile of money, and they are probably going to use it for something else. But it's important also for our listeners, and I'll say that in Spanish in a minute, that there are rules and regulations, for the purposes of these funds. But, maybe in the future, people could go and visit the schools on a non-school day and see in reality the level of work that needs to be done in the facilities. Entonces, una de las cosas que mencionaba aquí es como hace unos años en la Montgomery High School, estudiantes estaban teniendo la situación de que había cubetas para cachar el agua o recoger el agua que estaba cayendo cuando llovía, y hasta invitaron a la previa superintendente para decirle qué es lo que está sucediendo. Y ella honestamente dijo, ¿sabes qué? No tenemos los fondos para componer todo, vamos a tapar este hoyo aquí y aquel hoyo allá. Y la realidad es que algunos de estos edificios son décadas de uso, y esto es natural que van a tener problemas, y la comunidad necesita entender que estos fondos, si fueran aprobados, no se pueden usar para cualquier cosa, pero están restringidos y se tienen que usar para este tipo de cosas.
So we have two bond measures because we technically in Santa Rosa City Schools have two school districts under one umbrella.
Mhm.
One is the elementary school district and one is the high school district, which includes our middle schools and our high schools.
Pues hay dos bonos escolares en este caso, ya que en realidad el distrito escolar está dividido en dos partes, un distrito de escuelas primarias y un distrito de escuelas secundarias, que incluye no solamente las escuelas secundarias, la middle school, como se dice, y tanto como la preparatoria, incluye todo eso en la parte de secundaria.
And if it's okay, I'd like to shift to talking about the board seats. So every 4 years, we have board members whose seats are up for election. And right now, we have 3 seats that are up for election. We have our Area 2, Area 4, and Area 6.
Pues ahorita pasando a otro tema, con permiso, vamos a discutir un poquito la situación con la administrativa y los puestos disponibles o que están sujetos a votación. En este caso, pues cada 4 años, un puesto está sujeto a votación otra vez. En este año estamos hablando de las zonas 2, 4 y 6.
And school board members are in part responsible for the governance of the policies and fiscal stabilization of school districts.
Pues, y los miembros de la administrativa gobiernan las políticas del distrito escolar y también son los encargados de las decisiones fiscales, del mantenimiento fiscal del distrito escolar.
And so these seats are very important to Santa Rosa City Schools to make sure that we have individuals from the community who have an interest in supporting our schools and governance of our schools.
Pues estos puestos son increíblemente importantes para el Distrito Escolar Santa Rosa City Schools, pues siempre buscamos a personas en la comunidad, a quienes o personas que quieren apoyar a nuestras escuelas, que están listos para llevar a cabo este cargo.
So for Area 2, our current school board member is leaving her seat at the end of her term. And so we have 2 candidates who are running for that particular seat in Area 2.
Pues en la zona 2, la señora que está en ese puesto actualmente está saliendo de su puesto. Y como resultado, ahorita hay 2 candidatos, 2 personas que están buscando este puesto disponible en administrativa.
In Area 6, we have a current sitting board member who is running unopposed for the Area 6 seat.
Pues en la zona 6, la persona que actualmente está en administrativa está ofreciéndose otra vez sin competición.
And our Area 4 seat there are 2 candidates. One is a current sitting board member and also a new person looking to potentially be voted into that seat.
Pues, y en la zona 4, hay 2 personas que están ofreciéndose para este puesto. La primera persona es una persona que ya está sobre la administrativa y también hay otra persona que está ofreciéndose ante el público para el puesto también.
I think overall, what I'd like to close with on both of those particular topics, and Rafael, I'm open to questions, is that voting is very important for our community to share their voice and what they feel is important. And we hope that everyone will vote on November 8th for whatever they feel is important to them, because their voices need to be heard and their voice matters.
Pues, en general, estos son los 2 puntos generales que yo quería discutir, aunque yo estoy dispuesta a contestar más preguntas. Pero la superintendente quería subrayar la importancia de votación y es muy importante para la comunidad expresar su voz, lo que sea la persona que escoge, la cosa que apoya o no. El acto de votar es muy importante para la comunidad. Es importante que todos estén escuchados y que expresen sus voces.
Definitely. So thank you. So it's again, we want to remind the community of the importance of participating in voting. A lot of our members who have children at Santa Rosa City Schools, they're also undocumented and they cannot vote. And as a result of that, we also have to participate by voting in order to be able to speak for those children. If you cannot vote, remember, you have the right to speak with people who can vote and suggest how you would vote if you could. And in the future, maybe Santa Rosa City Schools will look at what other school districts have done, like San Francisco and Roseland, which is allowing undocumented immigrants to vote on school district elections. And that's just a suggestion because that's what we do here. But again, the last thing here I'll mention is that you can go to SRJC Mecha, that is SRJC, like Santa Rosa Junior College, mecha.org. And Mecha is the organization of students at Santa Rosa Junior College. It doesn't represent Santa Rosa Junior College or the views of Santa Rosa Junior College, but they put a list on their website that suggests, who they are endorsing, including members of the school district of Santa Rosa, members of the city council of Santa Rosa, the governorship, and many other things. And as I said in a previous segment today, California is a unique country in itself. We do things different in California, but this time around, there are forces that are trying to undo the work that has been done, especially to benefit the undocumented community and the children of the undocumented community. And so check out that website. We invite you to keep that in mind. Entonces, Lo que queremos recordarle es que es importante de que vote si puede votar, y si no puede votar, usted tiene todo el derecho a usar su voz en explicarle a gente que puede votar cómo votaría usted si pudiera. Y tal vez el Distrito Escolar de Santa Rosa va a empezar a ver para las siguientes elecciones la posibilidad de que gente indocumentada pueda votar solo para cosas relacionadas al Distrito Escolar de Santa Rosa. Se ha hecho en San Francisco y se está haciendo en Roseland esta votación. Entonces, es importante de que participemos, como mencionaba anteriormente. En California somos nuestro propio país, hacemos cosas diferentes y todo el trabajo que se ha hecho para beneficiar a la comunidad indocumentada, hay fuerzas que están tratando de quitar todos esos beneficios. Entonces, si pueden votar sus hijos, sus hijas, ustedes usen su influencia y pueden ir a srjcmecha.org y ahí está una lista de lo que estudiantes de Santa Rosa Junior College están sugiriendo por quién y por qué debo de votar. srjcmecha.org. So for my undocumented parents, if your children can vote, again, educate them about the importance of voting. And so I want to thank you, Superintendent, and your guest, unless you have anything else. I think it's important that you educate the community. Some kids are seeing signs out here and out there, and they have questions, and some community members, right? When we read some of those booklets, sometimes we walk away more confused than before we started with the voter guide. And this way, people from the community understand what it is that is on the ballot for those two specific ones. And so I want to thank you all for taking the time and being with us today here on KBBF and your show, Líderes del Futuro.
Thank you so much.
Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias. Adiós.